Welcome to the podcast series, Connecting the Dots in Retail. Today we have an interesting topic, Succeeding in Digital Transformation. Meet Guruprasad Nagaraja, Enterprise Architect for Tietoevry India. Hello Guru.
Hello Mala, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Happy to be here talking to you about this topic.
To start with, it is officially 2024 Guru and digital transformation is still very relevant. What do you think has happened so far?
Yeah, digital transformation is a topic we have been talking about in almost over a decade now. And it is still relevant even today, especially after Corona and especially after a lot of disruptive technologies constantly coming into being. So the moment there is a disruptive technology, there is sudden hike in the customer experience or the demands from the customer in terms of the digital and the non-digital experience that he wants, at least in the retail industry. I'm sure it is relevant to all other industries as well. So even today it is very relevant and it is one of the most sought after topics or topics of discussion in boardrooms as to for the leaders of the organization to decide what is the next initiative, digital transformation initiative that they have to embark on in order to meet their organizational vision. So it's very, very relevant.
Okay. I kind of think that definitely it is gaining pace as we see it. But do you think people are having successful transformations?
That's a very interesting question. The survey recently said that 70% of the transformation programs are not successful, which is a very staggering number, isn't it? In 2024, 70% of them are not successful. And that is the premise of this discussion that I want to have with you today, is to understand what are the peripheral elements apart from just technology or the business people that is keeping them from having a successful transformation program. So a lot of the times it starts as either a business initiative or a technology initiative. But without proper alignment, without proper vision, and without proper teams, it is impossible to have successful transformation because when you're bringing a new technology into your ecosystem, it is very important to understand how it kind of seamlessly blends into everything else that you have in the system, right? For example, I'll give you an IKEA example. So a lot of us have done this, I'm sure. When we set up a home, we go to IKEA or any other furniture store and we'll bring an awesome couch. But when we bring it into our homes is when we realize it's either too small or too big or it's too gaudy. So that's exactly what is happening, and that's why we are seeing such high numbers because we don't take measurements, we don't assess the environment around where something new is being brought in. So yeah, 70% are not successful, which is very surprising to me.
It is indeed something to look into. I'm sure that organizations are well aware of this kind of number that you just mentioned. Thank you. Also, just to add on to what you just said, how do you actually make this successful then? It should not be a puzzle that we cannot crack, right?
Correct. It's definitely not a puzzle, but it needs patience. It needs proper alignment. As I was just mentioning, I'll give you an example. There was a transformation program that I was once a part of, where they had brought in a system that manages their inventory. But the way it was implemented was where the transformation failed, because anything that is updating the inventory or anything that is consuming the inventory was not directly reaching to the inventory system that they had implemented. So as a result of that, when you bring something new and you incorporate that into your enterprise application landscape and you expose that to the end consumer, immediately the first thing that happens if it's not successful is it's going to show up on your P&L. And that's exactly what happened. So when you were adding items to the cart, the item would show as available. When you are actually checking out, which means you are actually confirming the order, by that time somebody else has actually bought that item already. So it's going to show that these items are out of stock, so remove it from the cart and then proceed. Or they are going to confirm the order and somebody from customer care is going to come back to you and say, this item is out of stock. Both cases, you have a soured customer experience, and that customer is now equipped with all of the social media that he's on, where your marketing team is managing. So he is going to spread a word of mouth, a bad word of mouth, but digitally. So I always say a digital word of mouth is much worse than just the word of mouth, the analogous word of mouth. So you will hear the same soured experience in 4 different social media channels, and that's something that every CEO, COO, CIO, or the customer experience leader doesn't want to hear. So first thing is you have to make sure that there is a proper vision in the organization at the leadership level. The second thing is you have to loop in your stakeholders into the conversation, because your experience manager, your marketing manager, your supply chain, chief supply chain officer, they are the ones who are actually doing business operations or business as usual day to day. So they are very aware of where they stand as of today. So they can give you the as is picture. The leaders can give you what is the vision. So they want to fly, but the stakeholders will tell you we are still crawling. So there is the step of walking, running, and then you can actually fly. So most of them, what they do is they are crawling, but they want to fly. So they'll attempt to fly, and they'll plummet flat onto the ground. So that is a big no-no when it comes to transformation. Vision, stakeholders. The next thing is you need to have the right kind of technical partners, technical teams within your organization, without which there cannot be a successful transformation program. Because if you have a very savvy and a very solid technical team, they know the limitations, they understand the non-functional requirements, they understand the scalability challenges, they understand that the customer-facing applications should have under 200, 300 millisecond response time. Otherwise, the customer today is so exacting and so demanding in retail that, and I'm sure all of us have done that. If an item list page is starting to hourglass, we are already abandoning, because everybody's attention span is reducing, and we are in a very fast-paced world. So you need a team that actually understands all of these technical pointers and makes sure that all of that goes into the implementation aspect. They do a thorough implementation of a new technology that you're bringing into the ecosystem. Without this, absolutely, that is why the percentages are very high. You cannot go and say, I want to replace a middleware. That is a wrong objective to have for digital transformation, right? You cannot say, I want a new e-commerce platform. That's again a wrong thing. But then you can say, hey, e-commerce, why not have a new platform, right? But what is that new platform adding to the consumer experience or the customer experience? That is the question to be asked when you talk about digital transformation. So lastly, I think you need somebody really wise and old like me who will actually navigate all of these tiers, talk to the visionaries, talk to the stakeholders, and understand the as-is gap, so that we can actually come up with a roadmap of well-paced initiatives that will take you from crawling to walking to running to flying eventually. So that is very crucial. So here we are talking about digital transformation, which is a technical initiative, but so far I have never mentioned anything about technology, because unless you have your kitchen right, you really can't start cooking, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say. So that's what people are doing. They have turned their burners on and they have set the pot, but they don't have the ingredients. So it's a starting problem, a burnt broth at the end.
So very well put, Guru. And talk about our customers. I'm sure all of us have done the review process. All of us have gone ahead and then got frustrated and then put things out there. So as I was saying, it's time to reset, restart, and transform. Any thoughts that you would like to share with us, Guru?
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to all of these things, please come and talk to us in Tietoevry. We are a very conscientious technology partner who is going to work with all levels of your organization and help you with your transformation program. And also, another thing I forgot mentioning was there are a lot of blanket transformations that are happening. Push every legacy outside and then bring some new vendor into the mixture and have an end-to-end implementation of that. But the challenge with that, Mala, is there is not enough analysis of your critical processes, business processes that has been done before somebody comes in and recommends just a blanket implementation of a particular vendor, end-to-end, all modules you implement.
Right.
So that usually doesn't work, and that's another also reason for a lot of failures, because that's a very big failure, because end-to-end implementation of a particular vendor will cost hundreds of millions of dollars, and at the end of the day, you will, instead of your current as-is processes, you're going to transform yourself or your business to the processes that are defined in that particular product. But that may not be the ideal scenario. There is a cascading effect that you need to have when you transform, and I have had a chance to pen my thoughts on this subject on supply chain brain. So I welcome all of you to go and read that article on supply chain brain, and please come talk to me or Mala. And if you have a transformation challenge, or if you are embarking on that journey, that is the right time to come and talk to us, and we will definitely help you strategize, publish roadmaps, and then cascade the initiatives and implement it for you. Thank you.
Thank you for pointing out all the gray areas as well, Guru, and I think it's all very valid. Thank you for sharing your perspective with us. Stay tuned for the next in the series. Thank you.
Thank you.